Okay, the van has come together very quickly at this point. I've just been out to get the gas, so that's one of the tasks of the day. Going to get that gas working, and then what have we got? Cupboard doors. We'll get the cupboard doors back on, and we've got the bed to do. So we've still got that stuff to do, but as I say, first I'm going to start by getting the gas in there, swap the jets out on the hob, and all of that. Okay, so with the gas, what we want is the bottle in there. That's good. And we want to cut this pipe to size and get the regulator on it. Now, what we're seeing about there. There it is. And to put the regulator on, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this in some boiling water for a short while, just to loosen it up. They can be very difficult to get onto these regulators, but the boiling water should help that. Okay, and with the regulator on, we just want to tighten up that Jubilee clip. There we go. Looking good. Now, before I connect that up, we do have to change the jets out on the hob. Now, with the manual, which comes with the hob, it tells you which one of these goes where, and the larger one goes to the larger burner. So this one here, a little bit fiddly, is for the natural gas, and this one here is for the LPG. So just want to make sure we thread that properly. Give it a nip, and the same with this one. Okay, I've got the regulator on the bottle under there, and it is time to test all of this. Looking good. And this one, looking good. Right, I'll just let those go for a little while, make sure that everything's absolutely okay, and now on to the next one. Okay, so the next thing to consider here is the table. How big do we want the table, and how's this all going to work? Essentially, I would like the table to drop down into here. It doesn't have to be exactly up to the mark there, but you know, to sort of fill that, and that will then become part of the bed. So let's measure up and see how big this whole thing is to begin with. 665. I'll make that 63. Now, I've decided to make the table out of this 18mm ply. Very nice finish on it. That'll lacquer up really nicely. And I have some of this, which I believe is 18 by 28, to put an edging round it. I might have that, and that will be good. So we want to take the measurements that we had earlier and subtract 2 times 18 from that. Okay, so I'm going to cut that to size. Next thing we want is to make this little surround for it. And next, we want this one. Alright, and to put all of this together, I just have some panel pins here. Then we want a line of glue on there. And the idea is we shall just line this up and knock the pins in. Okay, and there is the table. The edging on this is just going to, it'll stop that from cupping. Sometimes, you know, plywood, even 18mm ply, can get a little bend on it over time, whereas this round the outside there is going to keep that nice and stable. Alrighty. That is going to fit in there like that. Absolutely perfect. As I say, a little bit of space, but that's what I was after. Now we want to see if we can get it into being a table. And for that, I have the Lagoon mount. So I'm going to get that and see about fixing the leg onto here and see how all of that goes. Okay, so here we have the mount. That bit is going to go onto the table, that'll go onto the back of there, and we have this which is going to go onto this plate here. Now we want to make sure this is absolutely square. If it's not, the table is going to be that way or this way, so we want to get that on there. So we're going to need some things to do that. Some bolts have come with this. Are they long enough? Are they maybe long enough? Yes, I think these bolts will be long enough to go right the way through, but we do have this back plate to take into account as well, so I might just make that. Right, so I'll get an appropriate drill to drill some holes in here, and a spanner, and what's on the front of that? It's a hex nut on the front. So I'll get those things and we'll look at getting that in. Okay, now I've got that first nut in there, but I've run into a snag insofar as this batten here is not allowing the plate to go over here where it should be. So the answer to that is to cut a piece out of the plate, and in this top section here, which we won't be able to get a bolt through, I've got some long 90mm screws, and I think I'll get one of them through right into this batten here. So I need to cut that out. Okay, I've managed to chew that off, and we'll see, we'll see if we can get that in there. There we go. Right, that's good. Now, as I say, I'm just going to nip that temporarily, then I'll square this all up. Right, now, okay, and having got that square, happy with it, I can now draw in where these holes go. And we'll just whip that first one back out. Now I want to get these fairly accurate, so I'm going to make a brad hole right in the centre of them. Okay, and with that done, I'm just going to drill them out. There's a screw there, I hope we don't hit that. If we do, we can take it out. And I'll leave that one for now. I might just do a very thin pilot hole, and then, as I say, put a screw through that one. Rightio, so let's see what we've got. Go through that. Okay, and with that on, with the plate on at the back, we can start tightening all of this up. Right, that's all of those tightened up. Now, my leg should slide in there like that and lock into place like that, and then we have this cross member or cross beam, whoops, which has just fallen to pieces, but don't worry, that's going to need a little bit of arrowdite, I think. And that, I believe, would fit on there like that. And then we have this plate on the other side, and then my table. This looks reasonable. Alrighty, so with the table on, that'll look like that. Haven't fixed it yet, just balancing there, but I think that's looking good. Right, I'm going to take this down, fix the base of that onto here, and then it would be time to sand and lacquer this. Okay, so I want to get this back plate on here, and I've drawn a cross just from corner to corner, so I can sort of get that more or less central. Now I'm going to put it in with these 16mm screws. We may need to get something a little bit bigger than that. We'll see, there's certainly plenty of them in here. How many? There's 12 screws going to this plate, and that might be sufficient. We'll see. Okay, so let me show you this. The table is in the van, good. That will slide out like that. Obviously it can turn around and slide right out of the way so that you can get in there, and the whole thing will come off just by taking that off. Then you can just slide the whole thing off, take the top of the table off and fit it in here. I want some sort of thing for the table to rest on to turn this into a bed. And what I've gone for here is I've just taken out a couple of notches in these cross members here, and we've got this box section aluminium to put in there. So we're going to have one of them at the front here like this, and I'm just about to do another one at the back. They will slot into place, the table will sit on top, and it will all be level. That's my story anyhow, and I'm sticking to it. And the idea is we'll saw it down or down to the line. So I'll get my chisel and just knock that piece out. Now, what I'm saying is, if we have this on here, then this is the depth of the table, 25, and that's going to sit flush with the top. Right, so the idea with this, I'll cut these to, these are a little bit long, I'll cut them to their length obviously, but the idea is that these would just store in your, under your cabinets here. They would both shut down, and the bed, sorry, the table, take that leg off, take my lagoon leg off, table will fit in there. That is okay. Okay, so to put these up should be fairly straightforward. All of the screw holes are already there, as I say, and what we want to do is just offer that up, give it half a twist into the screw hole and screw it in. There you go. That is looking good. For now, very happy with that. I'm just going to continue my way around here and we'll get all of these doors on. Okay, the cupboards have all gone on very nicely. Not too much trouble, that one's a little bit stiff, but that's okay. We'll sort that out. Nicely on along here. Nicely on along this section here. Next thing to do would be to get the doors on. Now I can get some of the doors on, but I didn't want to do this one until I've sorted the water out, and I'm just trying to source a piece of acceptable pipe to put in there, so that one I'll have to wait for right now. But the thing is coming along very nicely, and the next thing to do will just be put these doors on, put the catches on the drawers, and then I'm going to be looking around for any snags, anything which I should have done earlier but didn't get round to. All of that sort of stuff needs doing, and some cleaning to get the spray adhesive off the windows and stuff like that. And then we're so close to completion of this van. Okay, so I haven't got all the top cupboards on. The next thing we want to do is get these bottom cupboard doors on. Just find my drill, and again these should go on very easily as it's all pre-marked out. Looking good. Next to last things to do with this bed area is, as I say, put these front panels on. Now, how are we going to do that? Well, we'll need a rule just to get that leveled up, and then I think what I'll do is I'll screw this from the back. Okay, I've just got something here. This is just really to make sure that we're square level on this mark here, and that's all looking good. So I'm going to go behind it with this drill, and I'll just drill a couple of holes for the screws. That looks pretty good about there. I'll just check it with my block. Yeah, looking good. So get the screws in. There we go. That's good. As I say, these aren't opening. There is access from the top, obviously. So next thing we want to do is I'll do these other two, and then I'm going to take a look and make a little snag list or a to-do list. Okay, at this point, I like this table, but what we've got here is the original plans and work schedule are here. I think it's looking very much like the plan. Right, so if you remember, we started with this plan. This is for the driver's side of the van. The only thing which I've done different here is, instead of putting these tiles on, I put that splashback on instead. Other than that, I think we're looking good there. And for the other side, the sink side, if you like, this was the plan. But if we look through the work schedule and just tick off anything at the end of that we've just done, it says here, fit the sink and hob. Pretty much done, I would say. Cut out the table and bed, that's done. Now, here's the thing. It says make a snag and finish list and work through it. So that's what I'm going to do. There's various things that will get missed inevitably along the way. So what I'm going to do is make a little list of what those things are, and then I'm going to work through them. So first of all, like obviously we have the water tank to finish. So water tank and cupboard to finish off. But as I say, we're waiting for things to arrive for that. Can't really get on with it. The next thing, carpeting. Now the van is entirely carpeted, but I'm going to check it all. If we need to straighten up any edges, take any of the glue off, any little missed pieces, that's what's going to happen there. And there's another thing which is on my mind, which is the conduit. And that would be the conduit for the cables which are inside the top cupboards. I'd like to put them in conduit, and as I said a while ago, I'd just make a little box to cover the lights up so that they don't get knocked whilst taking things in and out of the cupboard. So we've got conduit and top lights. And then I think what we have, there's a little bit of paint work to be touched up, just where I've filled the heads of the screws. I haven't done that yet because I know I'm going to have to do it again on the water cabinet in a short while. So I thought I would do that all at once, but I'll put it on my list anyhow. It's sanding and paint touch-up. We need to purge the diesel heater, or prime it. We need to prime the diesel heater when the conduit arrives. Again, waiting for the conduit to do that, but I will put that on. Prime the heater. And at that point, it's a good clean, inside and out. Right, so I'm going to get on with those bits and pieces, and hopefully the tubing will arrive for the sink and tap, and the conduit will arrive for the heater, and then we'll get those two, not major jobs, but two jobs finished. Now you see, one of the things I'm talking about with the carpeting, these little blocks here are still exposed, and what I'll do with that, I'll trim them up. I'll just cut a very small piece of carpet and we'll get that round there, and that will just look much, much neater. Okay, get a little bit of spray adhesive on that, a little bit on the block, and that is a much better finish. Next little job to tackle is these things here. These are just where I've filled up over the screw heads, and they need a little bit of sanding down and a touch up with the paint. Now the way I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it with hoover in one hand, sandpaper in the other, and any dust that we'll get from that, we should be able to scoop it up before it hits anything else and creates another job. Here we have the hoover. Okay, and that's all of them tidied up. I've put the little lick of paint back on that, covered the screw holes up. That's all looking good. I've done that with the rest of the screw holes. But that's it for this video. When we come back, this van will be completed and we will do a full van tour. I'll show you everything that we've got in here. The upholstery has arrived, the table's looking good, all good. Next time, van tour. So if you've enjoyed the video, do give it a thumbs up. If you would like to see how the van turns out in the next video, do consider subscribing to the channel. And in the meantime, I thank you very much for watching.